Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sid, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about reality TV star Pumpkin, who is the daughter of Mama June and the sister of Honey Boo Boo. And ever since her time on TV, she has become one of the more significant members of her family. She's had large storylines on the shows she's been on, she's been involved in a bunch of scandals, and she's also had a whole bunch of other notable moments as well. So since I've done a video on Honey Boo Boo and Mama June, I thought it was her turn. And there's still heaps of new information that I didn't share in either of those videos. So we first got a glimpse of Pumpkin in the background of the Toddlers and Tiaras episode that Honey Boo Boo was on. And that show is where the family made their mark, so they got a spin-off TV show called Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, where we were introduced to the whole family fully. Pumpkin, whose birth name is Lauren Shannon, immediately became one of the standouts. She was known for being crazy and outspoken. While the majority of the episodes spread the attention across all of the family members, Pumpkin got an episode completely focused on her, and it was called It's Always Something with Pumpkin. The only other time an episode was focused specifically on one person was with her sister Anna, and that was only the case because it was Anna's wedding. Pumpkin got the focus because of her personality. In that episode, it was explained where Pumpkin's craziness came from.
About 6 or 7 years ago, Pumpkin got struck by lightning while she was playing a game system. It was storming, it started lightning, the lightning hit the house, the game system was plugged up, the lightning conducted, and zapped. She was electrocuted. Pumpkin's never been the same, she's got a brain fried.
And the show also made a song about Pumpkin. And she was considered to be the biggest troublemaker out of all of the children. June was very lenient on her and the rest of her sisters. She often let Pumpkin hang out with older people where she was introduced to alcohol, and she also didn't enforce going to school very much. In one episode, Pumpkin planned an escape to go out and get some snacks at night, and while June didn't care, Sugar Bear grounded them, which was something that they weren't used to happening.
What is grounded?
There's no more TV. Oh God, friends can't come over, you can't go to their house, no phones, you're grounded. I'm dad, y'all the kids, you do what I say.
Mama really didn't care, but Sugar cares more. He wants to go all the way back to his age. That was like a long time ago you got punished. No one else gets punished around here. We don't get punished.
She was also getting injured more than anybody else on the show. Sugar Bear threw a set of car keys to her and it hit her in one of her eyes. It wasn't captured in real time, so the show did a reenactment.
Do like I always do, I threw them to her. And she missed them and it hit her in the face.
Afterwards, she needed a buckle placed in her eye so her retina stayed attached. There was also a car crash that took place off camera as well, so Honey Boo Boo, also known as Alana, did a recreation on the show as well. Basically, everybody but Anna were in a car together being driven by Sugar Bear, and he made a left turn at some traffic lights. He then turned into oncoming traffic, but apparently he didn't see that oncoming traffic because they didn't have their headlights on. I'll talk a bit more about that later. Pumpkin ended up being the most injured from that crash. She had a panic attack and had severe bruising on her chest. And even after all of that, she still remained in good spirits on the show. But yeah, when the show came out, it was a pretty big success. It was receiving recognition from a whole bunch of places. It was parodied by Family Guy. I mean The Simpsons. Sorry, I always get those two mixed up.
Who wants scatty and butter?
Saturday Night Live also did a skit about them, and a whole bunch of celebrities were talking about them, but they soon stopped being talked about for their redneck antics and were being talked about for a much darker reason. So 4 seasons of Here Comes Honey Boo Boo were filmed, edited, and released, and the 5th season had begun filming. But during a break in the show, Mama June and Sugar Bear broke up, and during that time, June reconnected with an old lover who spent 10 years in prison for molesting her oldest daughter, Anna, when she was 8. And when she reconnected with this man, Pumpkin and Alana were also present. Of course, there was a bunch of outrage to that, and Here Comes Honey Boo Boo was promptly cancelled. But June continued to make things worse for herself when she lied by not telling the truth. The name of the guy she met up with was Mark McDaniel, and she claimed that she never met up with him, and there were also photos taken of the two of them together, and she claimed that they were photoshopped at first. Pumpkin also spoke to Radar Online about the claims, and she said that June hadn't seen the guy in 10 years. And at that point, regardless of what the family was saying, the network of the show, TLC, cancelled Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. And yeah, at the time when June was getting a bunch of backlash for reconnecting with Mark, her and Pumpkin were getting heaps of hate messages online, and there was one in particular that crossed many lines. A guy threatened to shoot Pumpkin and June. He was arrested and faced the felony charge of making terroristic threats, but he claimed to be joking. Threats like that are so easy to make over the internet. That is why it is so important that your private information stays private. Today's sponsor, Aura, is the biggest help when it comes to protecting your online data. I'm sure everybody has received spam emails or robocalls and have wondered how they got your phone number or email to begin with. Basically, data brokers get your information and make fortunes selling it. And they're constantly wanting to learn more and more about you, like where you live. The amazing thing about Aura is that they can identify data brokers exposing your information and then submit opt-out requests on your behalf. And brokers are legally required to remove your info if you ask them to, but they do not make it easy. That is where Aura steps in. They handle the back and forth for you. You can try Aura free for 2 weeks using my link. But that is not everything. Aura does so much more to protect you and your family from online threats that you can't see. And you can get their protection from downloading their one app. It's super easy to set up, and it means that you don't need to get a whole bunch of different apps to get things like identity theft insurance, antivirus, a VPN, password management, parental controls, and so much more. It's all in one place, and you get everything at one affordable price. You can either let people continue to exploit and profit off your private information, or you can go to aura.com/sid to start your 2-week free trial, also linked in the description below. Anyways, then stories of why June met up with Mark were being released, and more photos were being leaked to TMZ of Alana, Pumpkin, and June all together with Mark. And the person who was leaking all of that information was Sugar Bear's brother, Uncle Poodle. And that caused Pumpkin to call Uncle Poodle out through an Instagram post. She said that he and his boyfriend were selling false stories for money. She also said that every story he put out was false. Anna then spoke out against June.
You know, I'm mad, I'm upset, I feel betrayed, and I feel very hurt. That's the main thing I am. I feel very hurt that Mama let him come around.
So June, Pumpkin, and Sugar Bear went on Dr. Phil to talk about it. And the reason why Pumpkin is relevant to this whole story is because Mark helped raise Pumpkin from 3 months old to 4 years old. He disappeared from her life because he went to prison. During the time that he was raising her, and for some time after, she was under the belief that he was her father. So basically, according to June and Pumpkin, the reason why they reconnected with Mark was so that Pumpkin could get some closure. When she was a kid, she didn't understand why he went away, and she just wanted to be able to close that chapter.
Because there's a lot of questions. Like, when you're 5 years old, you don't understand when someone's getting locked up. I mean, I had a lot of questions. Like, I asked Mama what happened. You know, I mean, I guess that I wanted closure on actually who he was. I wanted to actually know for sure.
She also says that she doesn't have a relationship with Anna and doesn't understand why Anna wouldn't believe what her own mother was saying.
Do you have a relationship with your sister, Anna?
No, at all.
Do you not know her well?
I know her, but my thing is if we're supposed to be your family, then why would you go about what someone else says and you would just listen to them and not listen to what your mama has to say?
The police incident report regarding Mark molesting Anna was also later released. It said he was specifically indicted on 1 count of child molestation. fondling the private area of Anna Marie Shannon in the presence of Lauren Shannon, a child under the age of 16. So yeah, what happened to Anna took place in the presence of Pumpkin, who was 3 at the time. But yeah, she doesn't remember any of it happening, and to this day it still seems as though she's still siding with June, and she doesn't really believe if it happened or not. In a podcast, she referred to it as a bunch of he said, she said.
She was talking to a man who had previously been charged with accusations of raping our older sister. But I don't know if that was true. I was 4 at the time, so I have no idea. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
From my understanding and what I've heard from a few other people, it's a bunch of he said, she said.
Anyways, through all of the issues surrounding the cancellation of the show, Pumpkin was able to find out who her real father was. When Here Comes Honey Boo Boo first came out, the National Enquirer did some digging and found out who all of the baby daddies were and their past crimes. But they couldn't find absolutely anything about Pumpkin's father. Pumpkin didn't know, and June acted like she didn't know either. All she seemed to know was that Mark wasn't her father because she met Mark after Pumpkin was born. But one of the fathers that the National Enquirer did speak to was Pumpkin's older sister Jessica's father. His name is Michael Anthony Ford, and he didn't have any sort of relationship with Jessica at all. He wasn't allowed to see her. He just paid $300 in child support every month. And he told the National Enquirer that he thinks the kids are being exploited for the show. And when the whole situation with Mark McDaniel was happening, Michael Anthony Ford's name came up again. June revealed that Pumpkin's father is Michael Anthony Ford, the same father as Jessica's.
I know on your show you said you didn't know who her father was.
We do. A shocker to probably my whole family and to everybody who did not know. Jessica and Pumpkin have the same father, which is Michael Ford. He hasn't had anything to do with Jessica in 18 years. So I didn't want to open that can of worms.
At the time that June revealed that information, Michael was in prison and not eligible for parole until 2026. And that came about because in 2005, he joined a Yahoo chat room and started talking to who he believed was a 13-year-old girl, when it was actually a police officer. And June said that he was then caught on To Catch a Predator.
It's Michael Anthony Ford. I have not had contact with him since 99. Since then, he was caught on Catch a Predator back in 2005, I want to say it was.
He doesn't seem to be in any of the To Catch a Predator episodes, so I think that June may have just meant that he was caught in the same way that they would catch somebody on To Catch a Predator, because he went to a gas station to meet up with this 13-year-old girl who was actually a police officer and got arrested. After spending 2 years in prison because of that, he was released and then arrested again. It was discovered on his laptop he was making searches for underage things. Then he was eventually released again and then violated his parole a couple of times by removing his ankle monitor and skipping a court date. And yeah, now he's back in prison until at least 2026. So yeah, after the show was cancelled and she found out who her father was, a decent amount of stuff happened for Pumpkin. She featured in Alana's viral song Movin' Up.
I love my mama, June. Don't forget your sister Pumpkin, too.
And in 2015, she came out as bisexual. She had been in a relationship with a girl, but they broke up. And she did try and get back with her by reaching out to her through a text.
She reached out to her with this text message.
I'm asking for another chance with you because I want to prove to you that I can treat you the way you deserve.
Pumpkin also revealed that June is bisexual as well.
She's gay too.
No,
June is gay too. Yeah, that's what
bisexual.
Exactly.
Mama June was here to support her daughter, but the focus quickly turned to her.
The show's about me coming out, but June has came out too.
June, are you attracted to women and men?
I have, yes. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I played in the minors, but never went pro.
June basically said that she had been intimate with women, but had never been in a relationship with one. You know how I said some of the 5th season of Here Comes Honey Boo Boo had already been filmed? Well, TLC eventually decided to release those episodes in 2017 called The Lost Episodes.
Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, The Lost Episodes. Never before seen footage in one big flippin' night.
There were 4 episodes that were released, and in the the first episode, Pumpkin's coming out story was covered.
So, okay, so, do you think you're gay like Lee?
No, I know I'm not gay.
What is it, like you like boys and you like girls?
Yeah.
Pumpkin didn't end up getting back with her girlfriend because later that year in 2015, when she was 15, she met her future husband, Josh. They got into a relationship, and then the next year when she was 16 and he was 19, they got engaged. At the time, they said that they would wait until Pumpkin turned 18 to get married, and June told TMZ that they were planning on saving themselves until marriage, but that turned out to not be the case, and we got to watch it all unfold on the new TV show that they got. In 2017, Pumpkin, Alana, Sugar Bear, and June appeared on a new TV show on WeTV called Mama June from Not to Hot. The show first documented June's weight loss journey. Pumpkin watched June's transformation from the sidelines, and Josh was also present for all of that. June was not a fan of Josh at first, and her dislike for Josh only amped up in the second season. At the start of the season, it was revealed that Pumpkin, at 17 years of age, was pregnant.
I got a bun in the oven, silly. I'm pregnant.
Oh no.
June did not react very well to that. When Pumpkin came out as bisexual, June was partially relieved because it meant if Pumpkin got with a girl, then she wouldn't have to worry about Pumpkin getting pregnant.
Well, you look at it this way, if she'd be with a girl and ain't gotta worry about her getting pregnant.
That's true.
June and Pumpkin's sister Anna were teen mums, and that was a struggle for them, so that was the last thing that June wanted for Pumpkin.
Pumpkin is pregnant. This is not what I envisioned for her at 17 to be having a baby. I mean, what plans do you have? I mean, do you have any idea how much it takes to raise a baby? Coming home, working 9 to 5, eating romaine noodles and macaroni and cheese for the next 18 years.
Josh then moved in to June's house where Pumpkin also lived, and that made June dislike him even more because she did not like how he was acting in the house.
I mean, seriously, this is about respect. Did you not say, baby, hold a minute, I don't think Mama would like this. You moved him in when I was gone. He's been walking around here in his underwear, not cleaning up after himself.
And June wasn't the only one who didn't like Josh. Pumpkin also didn't like Josh for a moment. When their baby, who they named Ella, was born, Josh pretty much just left Pumpkin to look after Ella by herself.
You didn't think to come and help me, get her to sleep or anything?
I'm tired.
And that was the cause of many, many fights, but they still wanted to get married, so they decided to go to therapy together to try and repair their relationship. The therapist asked them about their childhoods, and Pumpkin's father was brought up. That was when she started to wonder who would walk her down the aisle when she got married.
I hadn't really thought about my dad in a while, but then I think about it and I'm like, dang, I'm about to get married, so like, who's gonna walk me down the aisle?
Pumpkin and Josh were eventually able to settle their differences, and June also came around on Josh by the end of the second season. That is also when they had a fake wedding in Vegas for the show, and June ended up walking her down the aisle. They did have a real wedding though, where both of their full families attended. After their wedding, their relationship continued to strengthen. They still had issues around Josh trying to find work, but that was when Sugar Bear was able to step in and help Josh find work. It's not said on the show, but Sugar Bear and Josh are actually cousins. So yeah, with a bit of good old nepotism, Josh was able to find work. So at the end of the day, what put the most strain on Pumpkin and Josh's relationship was June. If you've seen my other videos on June and Alana, you will know that June got addicted to hardcore drugs. Because of that, June wasn't able to take care of Alana, so Pumpkin stepped up and got temporary guardianship of Alana, and she eventually got full custody of Alana, where June had to pay her monthly child support. During that time, and even before that time, Sugar Bear and his girlfriend Jennifer were trying to get more visitations with Alana. Then in the reunion show for season 1, Sugar Bear was grilled quite a bit on why he wasn't doing more to be a part of Alana's life. That caused him to get very angry and lash out.
I'm done. Y'all
Hey, this is what happens. This is what happens.
Your mouth, you Shannon. What happened, you stupid?
One moment that stands out the most is that he seemingly, very randomly and suddenly decided to direct his anger towards Pumpkin.
Okay, I swear to God. Okay, no. You stupid piece of... I got you too. I got you too. You dumb piece of... That's why you're a piece of father. Come on, bitch.
Stop. Yes.
I swear to God, I will beat their ass. Why the...
He can snap just like that. That's been him for 11 years. The world is seeing what Sugar Bear really is like.
That was pretty much the first time we saw Sugar Bear act like that. Previously, he was known as a very relaxed, easygoing guy who barely said anything. But after that incident on the reunion, June, Alana, and Pumpkin spoke the truth about Sugar Bear. As it turns out, his anger towards Pumpkin wasn't as random as it seemed. Earlier, I mentioned that Pumpkin seemed to be the one getting injured the most on Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. It turns out, for an unknown reason, Sugar Bear targeted Pumpkin as the person who he would take his anger out on.
She may have never really seen it, but I seen a lot of the physical abuse from him. Like,
was he physically
he was always angry at me?
Was he only physically abusive to you, or was he physically abusive to Alana and Mama June?
No, it was just really mean.
June went on the Wendy Williams show and exposed that Pumpkin's eye injury and the car crash was Sugar Bear's fault, but it was covered up on the show.
Is he abusive?
Very emotionally and physically. He was, and there's a lot of stuff that was hid for many, many years. And
did Honey Boo Boo? Did your girls know about it?
Oh yeah, he knows. In this episode, y'all are gonna be shocked. I mean, like I said, there's been several. I can give you Pumpkin's eye was his fault. The thing that was showed on Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, we never did. The car wreck. Several things that happened on Here Comes Honey Boo Boo that was kind of like covered up.
So let's talk about the car crash that happened on January 6th, 2014, the day before Pumpkin's 14th birthday. The day after it happened, June wrote an explanation on Alana's Facebook fan page. She said that the oncoming car that struck them didn't have their headlights on and they were going very fast. So they were pointing fingers at the person who hit them. A couple of days later, they were approached by reporters who were asking who was at fault, and Sugar Bear said they didn't know who was at fault.
Who was to blame, Mike, for the car crash then?
They ain't been said yet.
June also said that Pumpkin was injured the worst.
Nothing I have to say is the worst. Pumpkin.
What happened to Pumpkin? Did she had a panic attack?
Yes, Pumpkin is probably the worst out of all of them.
Really? Is she going to go back to hospital for some more treatment?
Well, today, yeah.
Sugar Bear may have said he didn't know who was at fault at the time, but of course they had already made the claims that the guy who hit them didn't have his headlights on. So the guy who hit them responded to those claims and said that he did have his headlights on. And then a couple of weeks after the crash, Sugar Bear actually was found at fault. Police department investigators determined that Sugar Bear made an unsafe left turn in front of a truck. They came to that conclusion when the family actually confessed that they did in fact see lights on the vehicle that hit them. Pumpkin and Alana have since spoken in a podcast about how June would just let Sugar Bear's abuse happen.
Did you tell June that, hey, look, he's extremely abusive towards me?
Oh, she knew. She was in the living room when he threw the keys in her eyes.
Yeah, they were arguing. I was standing right beside her. I had actually just come in from the car. I remember it just like it was yesterday. I had just come in from the car. I think Alana and them was out there in the car.
Yeah, we were waiting. We were finna go somewhere.
They were sitting there and they were like bitching, or I can't remember about what. But I had come inside, and as soon as I did that, like he looked at me and he fucking threw him,
and she just let it happen.
Yeah, like she doesn't even say nothing. Like
never stuck up for you. Oh.
So it makes sense that June would try and cover for Sugar Bear at the time. We don't exactly know whether Sugar Bear was angry and distracted, so he made the turn without looking, or whether he deliberately turned into the oncoming traffic. But what we do know is that June listed it off in the context of talking about Sugar Bear's abuse. The other thing that June said was covered up was the car key incident, which ended up leaving Pumpkin with an eye buckle.
I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of, brushing his ass up under the rug. Pumpkin's eye buckle was caused by him. There's so many emotional scars and physical scars with the kids.
So yeah, there was a lot more going on behind the scenes than what was shown on Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. Nowadays, you can usually find Pumpkin on a TikTok live stream selling stuff.
Okay, these are $5. I do have more glasses.
And she is also still on the Mama June show. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.